Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Shannon Tyler, and I am the Teacher Enrichment Program Manager here at the Center for Excellence in Education. I will be hosting today's webinar titled STEM Power Hour, Tools and Insights from the National Center for Women in Information Technology, or NCWIT. We are very excited to hear from our speakers today about NCWIT and all their innovative work that they're doing with their organization. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. To begin, I would like to give some brief background information on our organization. The Center for Excellence in Education was founded in 1983 by Joanne DeGennaro and Admiral Rickover, father of the nuclear navy and civilian uses of nuclear power. Its mission is to nurture high school and university scholars to careers of excellence and leadership in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, or STEM, and encourage collaboration between and among scientific and technological leaders in the global community. We have 4 cost-free programs for teachers and students, including the Research Science Institute, the USA Bio-Olympiad, the Teacher Enrichment Program, and STEM Lyceums. I'm going to talk a little bit more about these programs on the next slides. So first we have the Research Science Institute, or RSI, which is a highly competitive 6-week summer science and engineering program open to rising high school seniors where juniors are eligible to apply. RSI is the first cost-free summer science and engineering program that combines on-campus coursework in scientific theory with off-campus work in science and research, or science and technology research. Next, we have the USA Bio-Olympiad, which is the premier biology competition for high school students in the United States. It provides the motivation, curricular resources, and skills training to take them beyond their classroom experience to the level of international competitiveness. A little fun fact about the USABO is that since CEE began administering it in 2003, every member of the USA Bio-Olympiad team has medaled at the International Biology Olympiad. Next, we have the Teacher Enrichment Program, or TEP, which is the program bringing today's webinar to you. TEP provides opportunities for middle and high school teachers to connect with leading experts from industry and academia, explore cutting-edge research and development, and make meaningful professional links with direct benefits for you and your students. Finally, we have our newest initiative here at CEE, which is STEM Lyceums. It is a virtual club for high school students to meet once a month to learn about STEM career pathways from leading field experts. Industry professionals share cutting-edge research and offer unique learning experiences like scholarships and internship opportunities for high achievers. To learn more about our programs and opportunities, please visit our website at www.cee.org.
Well, I'm really excited to talk to you all today about STEM power tools and insights from NCWIT. A quick agenda for today. First, just going to give you an introduction to our organization and some opportunities to engage with us in our Team Up presentation we're going to have in a couple of weeks. I'll then talk quickly about what Teach Engineering is, so you can use it as a resource if you haven't heard about it before. It is a free and open resource that we're excited to share with you today. I'm then going to put you in the students' shoes. And so I'm hoping our team here today can actually help us with sharing your design. So I'm going to put you in the students' shoes and have you do a design challenge or a rapid prototyping using one of our activities on Teach Engineering. Then I'm hoping to have you share your design. So this may take a little creative work on our part to see if we can give you the ability to share your designs once you've created them. And then I'll finish up with ways to get involved with Teach Engineering and NCWIT, and also an opportunity for any questions that you may have for myself or my colleague Kathy, who's here today, helping provide links and things like that. So my name is Stephanie Weber. I'm the Assistant Director of Programs at NCWIT and a staff member at the University of Colorado here in Boulder. I am a former teacher. I have worked in the classroom for 15 years as a STEM educator and came to NCWIT about 13 years ago, so I'm dating myself here a little bit, to work as a curriculum developer and through different K-12 programs here at NCWIT. So that's a little bit about me. I lead up several different teams at NCWIT, but let me tell you a little bit about who we are if you're not sure. So NCWIT was founded in 2004, and our mission is to widen inclusion in the tech ecosystem through innovative programs and research. And we're going to talk about three programs today, one in depth and two just briefly, but there'll be opportunities that we'll share with you today as well to learn more about all of our programs at NCWIT. We partner with the University of Colorado Boulder's Department of Engineering, I'm sorry, College of Engineering and Applied Science. And that's where I sit as a staff member as well. Our vision is really to help organizations, all organizations, remain globally competitive in science and technology by creating environments where all students can thrive. So, as we go through our presentation today, hopefully that becomes clear with many of our programs. They're really trying to help students learn about these careers and career pathways and provide educators with tools they need to help students find these pathways. I'll talk briefly about three free direct service programs. Again, I emphasize the free. There is no cost for these programs. So Aspirations in Computing, our Counselors for Computing, and our Teach Engineering programs. NCWIT is an ecosystem of programs and organizations. We actually have 1,600 member organizations who are part of NCWIT. And through these member organizations, we offer lots of different programs, resources, and opportunities to connect. So we really span an individual's journey through K through gray, as we can say, through K-12 work into higher ed, into workforce, and also in the community. So you can learn more about many of our other programs and resources that we have at NCWIT by going to ncwit.org. And I'm sure we'll share that link with you as well. But we'll only have time really today to talk about a couple of our programs in order to use the time that we have. But I want to encourage you to maybe scan this QR code, or we could put the register link in the chat as well, perhaps, to come for another virtual webinar if you have time and would like to on September 24th. We're going to have a program where we talk more in depth and actually have breakout sessions about all three programs, Aspirations in Computing, Teach Engineering, and our Counselors for Computing program. So if you're interested today about learning more about some of these programs, or you have a colleague who would like to attend, please share this information with them, and we would love to see you there. Okay, so briefly, I want to talk about a couple of our programs. First is Aspirations in Computing, or AIC for short. This is a community of over 30,000 high school students and early career professionals who have aspirations in technology, computing, and STEM more generally. When students join the community, again, this is a free community, they gain information about different kinds of internships and jobs. There are different kinds of skill trainings and experiences that they can participate in. They can meet peers and colleagues around the country, connect with other members of individuals at their schools, especially at the collegiate level, where there are different kinds of college reps. They can apply for technical jobs through many of our 1,600 member organizations and partners. So there's a lot of opportunities to really connect with a broad network of peers in the Aspirations in Computing community. When students join the community, they can participate or apply for an award. And our high school award has just opened up for 9th through 12th grade students who are interested in computing and want to demonstrate and talk about their computing related achievements and interests. It encourages them to pursue their passions. So if you have a student who is interested in computing or technology, highly encourage you to go to aspirations.org, learn about the awards program, learn about the community that these students can join, and maybe recommend them to check it out further. Also, we have programming for counselors as well as those in advising roles. This is our Counselors for Computing program. We provide different opportunities for counselors through professional development, through a monthly newsletter, through resources to encourage them to be part of the conversation. Counselors really sit at a unique role in our school ecosystems. They advise students on career pathways, different courses to take. And so by empowering counselors and those in advising roles with information and tools about how to talk to students about technical career pathways and courses, we can really encourage more students to look at this particular career pathway. So lots of information on this slide here. different ways to engage with counselors for computing, resources you can download and use for free. And again, this is another program we'll talk about more in depth on the 24th if you'd like to attend that particular webinar as well. Now I'm going to talk about the main program that we're going to speak about today, which is our Teach Engineering program. Teach Engineering was founded over 15 years ago with a grant from the NSF, and we are continuing strong with our Teach Engineering digital library. Teach Engineering is a collection of nearly 2,000 activities, lessons, maker challenges, and informal learning activities created by teachers, for teachers, peer-reviewed by educators and engineers in the field, and then published on our site to be used for free, downloadable in any capacity that you would like to use them. Teach Engineering is a really powerful tool because it makes an engineering connection to any STEM activity. So anything that's in the collection, it may be a biology lesson. And this lesson would make engineering connections. So you could talk about how engineers might use the information in this activity or prototype a tool that's related to the biology lesson, et cetera, in an engineering way. All the activities have learning objectives and are standards aligned. We use many different kinds of standards, including state standards, but also NGSS and Common Core Math standards, as well as some international technology standards. We have nuts to bolts everything an educator might need to get started, including worksheets and attachments, assessments for students. You name it, it is here. But we're also taking suggestions as people use these things so we can improve these activities over time. Um, Additional features of the Teach Engineering activities are detailed material lists with descriptions of everything you might need. Most of the things in the collection use everyday common materials, things you might find in your craft drawer or your closet at school for supplies, maybe things you could find at the grocery store or the hardware store. So we really try to make it easy and accessible for all to do engineering type activities. We also have detailed procedures of how to do the activity, including how-to videos, how to use the engineering design process, and things like that. And again, educators take these lessons and manipulate them and change them for their classroom settings, and that's totally fine too. But we want to start you off with a baseline of peer-reviewed information so that you know this is quality material, things that have worked in the classroom, and you can really be confident in taking this as is or making it your own. The engineering design and design process is really a core feature of Teach Engineering. We have videos that talk about what engineering is for your students, as well as what the engineering design process is. And we'll be talking a little bit about using the engineering design process in just a minute. Again, these are resources that you can find throughout the site. The Teach Engineering Design Process poster is something you can also download from our site and print and put up in your classroom if you'd like, or just even talk to your students about what this is. This is really a process of which engineers go through in solving problems. And so as you go through the activities on the site, you'll see whether the activity uses the full engineering design process or a partial part of the engineering design process. And today we're going to use part of it in our design challenge. Additionally, on our site, we have curated collections of popular topics. These are collections of resources as well as additional information pages about subject areas that are popular with our users. Here we're illustrating Newton's law of motion, for example. And if you went to this particular page for popular topics, you'd have more information you could share with your students about Newton's law of motion, and then several suggested activities that use this principle that have been published on our site. So this is a growing collection of popular topics that we develop over time, and we look forward to you checking it out and letting us know if these are helpful for you in your engineering or your STEM lessons. And also, as we talk about career exploration and career pathways, Teach Engineering has a type of engineering page where students can really explore different career pathways. So if they were looking at agricultural engineering, for instance, they could learn about what an agricultural engineer does, what kind of jobs they have, and then it connects to different activities in our collection that then they can be almost an agricultural engineer. They can learn some of the skills and tools they would need to really explore that career pathway. So this is another resource on our site that you may use. And of course, these are also printable, downloadable resources that you can share broadly. We also have professional development workshops. Right now, we have just wrapped up a program called the Teach Engineering Champions Institute, which is a in-person event, but we also have virtual events throughout the year. And so I would encourage you to come back to this page to learn more about professional development workshops. And if this Teach Engineering Champions Institute looks interesting to you, we're going to be launching our cohort 2 in January, where we'll be calling for educators, both formal and informal, who are interested in learning more and being champions for engineering and coming to beautiful Boulder, Colorado, to learn more about how to be a champion for Teach Engineering. In January. So again, just a plug to check back here and bookmark it so that you too could participate in this professional development opportunity if you'd like. But like I said, there's also virtual ways to participate, and we will be advertising those through our newsletter and our social media. So good ways and reasons to connect with us in multiple ways to learn about PD that's happening through Teach Engineering. If you didn't think there were enough resources already, we also have a YouTube channel, and we have nearly 600 videos now. Several more are going to be produced this week that accompany our activities and lessons for Teach Engineering. So if you are a YouTuber or like YouTube, check out the Teach Engineering YouTube channel, subscribe, and you can use these videos either independently or with the activities and lessons they accompany. Proudly, these are videos created by students at the University of Colorado Boulder. So these are students who are learning about creating engineering materials for educators to use. And we hope that you would enjoy using these with your students and also helping maybe prepare for a lesson activity that you hope to use in the collection. Okay, now it's time to put on our student hats. So I'm hoping we have some willing participants in our audience today. And if you're watching the recording, you too could also do the design challenge asynchronously and let us know how it went. We're going to adapt a lesson in the collection called Helping Hands, Engineering Solutions for Multiple Sclerosis, or MS. And this activity, as you can see here, is something that's designed to use over several class periods or several after-school club gatherings, but we're going to do it in simply 15 minutes. We're going to do a rapid prototyping activity adapted from this activity itself. And so I'm also modeling how educators could use these activities and make them useful in their own classrooms. But we'll come back to this lesson at the end, and you can see the full lesson if you'd like by going to the link. But we're going to do a adaptation of this in today's session. So we're going to do a design challenge or rapid prototyping to solve a problem. The problem that we're trying to solve today is or I guess the task at hand is that we're going to create an easy to use device that helps individuals with MS securely hold a pencil. So this is the problem we're going to try to solve. And we're going to use the engineering design process, which is shown here. For Teach Engineering, these are the steps of the engineering design process we use on our site. Of course, there are also other adaptations of the EDP for short, the engineering design process. Here we're going to use part of this process. We're going to be asking some questions. We're going to do a very abbreviated research part. We're going to imagine possibilities. We are going to be very quickly planning and creating a prototype. And then we're going to have a little bit of time to test it and think about improvements. But engineers use this as a cycle. They go and do many, many iterations of prototypes. And one reason that we talk about rapid prototyping is that sometimes engineers have different kinds of constraints and limits when they've been given a problem. Constraints might be money that a company comes to them and says, we only have a certain amount of money to do something. So can you design it for this price? Or we only have a certain number of months to develop something. So this is really actively engaging students in a very real world situation that engineers deal with. So here's our design challenge for those those of you that are here today and those of you that are listening. The criteria for this design challenge is that your design needs to hold a pencil securely. So whatever you're designing today, you have to make sure it can do that. It also must be something easy to use, meaning you can put it on and take it off easily. There's a couple constraints to your design. You must use materials that are only readily available to you right now where you're sitting. Now you can imagine if you're in a classroom, you might have some materials laid out on a table. For those that are here today, if you're sitting at your office or your kitchen table, or in my case, my dining room table, use the things that are around you to create a prototype for someone with MS so they can hold a pencil securely. You're going to have to be creative with this. You probably can run to a drawer in your house, but again, there's going to be some time constraints here. Time constraints are as follows. You're going to only have 10 minutes to build your design. So this is a very quick way to think creatively about what you might use. And you must size it for someone who's either in middle school or to adult. So you're not talking about a tiny child here, but you're talking about a young adult to an adult size constraint. So those are your constraints. Okay, let me talk a little bit more about this. Now, before I have the countdown, you may be asking, well, what if my students don't know about what MS is and what the constraints are? For today's purpose, I'm not going to spend time showing videos or researching the internet or opening a book and learning about MS and talking to my students. But there are some links at the end of my presentation, and maybe my colleague Kathy can pull them up and share them with you as part of the research. We actually have a student-made video on this activity that you could watch on your own if you want to spend part of your 3 minutes doing it, although the video is 5 minutes, so you won't have time to watch it all. To learn a little bit about what MS is. There's also another video that's 2 minutes at the end of our slide deck that is a sort of a 2-minute high level, what is MS and what are the conditions that people who have this deal with. That's really good background information and research for students as well as yourself to learn about when designing a tool. And that's something, again, you can do in your classroom if you had time. Given that I'm already halfway through my presentation today, we're not going to take a lot of time to research. So I'm going to give you 3 minutes to maybe do a little quick research and imagine the possibilities and think about what you would develop with the tools around you to create a device where someone with MS could hold a pencil. Okay, so I'm going to do the 3-minute counter. I know I can't see all of your faces. I think maybe hopefully when we get to share the design, we'll be able to have people log on if they're comfortable to. But even for those colleagues that I have here, if you're so willing, you now have the next 3 minutes to design something and plan what you would design with the tools around you. So here I go. I'm going to get started. And this is my 3-minute video. I will stop talking, but I will remind you at 1 minute and 30 seconds and then do a 10-second countdown. Little over 1 minute left to design a prototype for someone with MS to hold a pencil securely using materials around you. You might use a sketch pad or your computer, or just think in your head what some possibilities might be. Just about 30 seconds. Can imagine your students feverishly writing, maybe peeking over a fellow student's shoulder to see what their ideas might be. All right. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, I have no way to tell that you've stopped feverishly writing, but I'm going to just trust in the process. All right. Moving on to our design process. And this is where things could get really hairy in your classroom, but hopefully not too stressful for you at home. As we follow the engineering design process with your students, you ask questions, you research, you imagine, you plan. Now, we just did that very abbreviated. We now have time to create and test our prototypes. Again, if we were looking at the full activity, your students are given multiple days to do this activity, but maybe you don't have that much time in your curriculum or your classroom, or maybe you're doing this in after school club. So you could utilize this rapid prototyping technique. I'm now going to give you 10 minutes, only 10 minutes, to create a prototype and maybe test it. And again, the problem we're trying to solve is holding a pencil securely for someone with MS who has maybe lost that ability to kind of keep their hands steady. So in this process, I'm going to challenge you here today or at home to gather materials around you, to put them together in the next 10 minutes. And then after the 10 minutes, I'm hoping that some of you may be willing to come on camera and show us your designs of what you tested and how you think they work and maybe how you think you could improve them. So I am going to set the timer and give you 10 minutes to create these things at home. Are you ready? Here we go. I knew my dog would bark. We've used 1 minute of our time. When I've done activities like this before, I've seen people running around on camera, in and out of the room, maybe a little sweat. If you're doing this in the classroom, you could use a countdown timer with a really fun song. I decided that was a little bit too much for me today, but just another idea to share. That Jeopardy song sometimes makes people really stressed out, but maybe that would work for your students if people still watch Jeopardy. We have less than 7 minutes remaining. Remember to leave time after you create something to test it and maybe redesign and retest. So in addition to building a prototype of something that someone from with MS could hold a pencil, can you write with the device? Can you write with it easily or is it hard? Is there something you could change with your prototype if you have time or the resources? Just over 5 minutes left. You can imagine students maybe comparing their design to others and talking in the classroom about maybe changes they would make or asking questions. Or maybe they're just feverishly grabbing materials to see what they can do at their desks. I'm curious, maybe you can put in the chat. If you don't need the 5 minutes, I'm happy to end the timer. But is there anyone in the chat, speak now, who really wants the time? Kathy, maybe you can let me know. If people feel like they're done, we can end now. Or if there's somebody that needs more time, I want to respect that too, because I did promise 10 minutes.
So I think Shannon is the only one of us who can see the Q&A.
Oh,
Oh, nope. Melissa says she's done. And Stephanie, we can hear them on a voice, but we won't be able to see them on camera.
okay.
But I have a prototype that I've been working on that I can certainly share.
Okay. So was the consensus we don't need the rest of the time?
I only have one person who said she's done. Maybe everyone is still feverishly working.
Okay. Well, we'll wait for maybe a few more minutes.
I do have the Jeopardy song going on in my head because that motivates me to work harder.
Okay. We just have 3 minutes left. So if you're done, maybe test it out. Is it going to hold up? What's the durability like? Think about how you might design it differently if you had more time or different resources. or just stare at the video. It is a little bit mesmerizing.
Sometimes I like to put up that fish tank aquarium, right? Watch those fish go by.
Other
Very
ideas for
calm.
your students, although you would want to make sure they weren't too distracted by the video and would
Yeah.
still have spent time doing their prototype. Oh my gosh, I'm going to totally cheat. I'm going to give you 1 more minute. Time constraints have changed. Your client wants it faster than they originally said.
And under
So
budget.
now we have a minute. See how I can do that? 1 minute, wrapping up the prototypes. And again, going back from being you being the student right now to your teacher hat, you can also adjust this in your classroom depending on how engaged your students might be, how you see it's progressing, coaching them on. But again, this is often, maybe not quite this quick, what engineers are faced with in the field. These time constraints, these material constraints, customers wanting something faster than they said they wanted it. So I will do the 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Finish your prototype. 4, 3,
Three,
2.
two,
Does it make a sound? Oh,
one.
it does. There we go. All right. I have to say, I had these timers practicing yesterday and they went off on my computer. I didn't know what they were. So it kind of freaked me out a little bit. There we go. All right, so we have modeled a very rapid prototype engineering design process. And I know, unfortunately, we can't see all of you that are on screen today, but I'm going to give you my email at the end. And if you have a picture and you're not able to share it today, you feel welcome to share it with me. So this is our time for share out, and I know I have engaged my colleagues here who are going to also help share out designs. These are actually examples of real student designs when we have done this activity. And they've used the worksheets that are found in the full activity to put something together. You can see they really use index cards, pencils, what are those, straws, pipe cleaners. So we're not talking about, expensive things here. And another thing to kind of point out to your students is sometimes when engineers are developing prototypes, they do use inexpensive materials because they don't want to spend a lot of time and money with a first iteration. They want to see, does something work? And if it does, then they're going to maybe use more expensive materials and spend more time on that next prototype. So again, mirroring, very much what engineers do in everyday life. But for those of you who were able to see on camera or share your voice, I would love to hear about your designs if you are willing. And I could
So
probably stop sharing my screen, or maybe you can hold it up. I don't know.
I'm happy to go first. So
Okay.
the funny challenge here today, as Stephanie and I were getting ready for this presentation, I am not in my home office. I'm not in any office. I'm actually at the coffee shop. And so when Stephanie said, "Oh, we might not be able to see them, Kathy, why don't you design a prototype where we can see?" And so I opened up my bag and I thought, okay, do I even have a pencil to chest? And actually I have a pen, so that works. But I have this hair clip. I don't know, can you see this? I found a hair clip in my bag. And so I put the pen, oh, can I,
Can I
in the
make
hair
you bigger?
clip,
Let me see. I don't know if I can.
I put the pen in the hair clip. And the idea is that my finger would go, in the hair clip. And so then I tested it, right? And I tried to write with it. And the pen was very wobbly and shaky because my finger would open up the prongs to the hair clip. And so then I dug in my purse some more and I found my hair tie. And so I tied the hair tie around the hair clip to keep it from opening. So I stuck my finger in and it's actually pretty stable. I was signing my name away and it actually worked. So again, back to that
Nice.
whole, right? Back to that whole whatever you have happened to be in your back pocket, on your table, in your bag, it actually did pretty good.
Nice work, Kathy. Bravo. Extra challenge with limited materials.
Right. Whew.
Do I have another volunteer? Probably have time for one, maybe two others.
I am happy to share mine. Again, I had very limited resources over here, so I just had a rubber band. And so I just made a hand strap with the rubber band and put it on my hands. And so I can write very well with, not tension on my hand, but I will say my complaint is I would use some type of foam tubing or something that could go maybe on the pencil or around so that, because this would definitely be short term. It's not the most comfortable. But it works. I was able to write. I tested it out on my little notepad here
Nice.
and,
Very
got the
cool.
job done.
Oh, thanks, Shannon, for sharing.
Mhm.
Anyone listening that I know you may not be able to, is there anything in the chat about designs? Or we got Rebecca also looks like she unmuted. So
Yep, sure. If any of our teachers that are listening want to jump in, feel free to jump in. I'm building off of Shannon's design. We're in the same office together, so we can co-op and collaborate. But mine's a rubber band with some binder clips together to solve that holding it by yourself problem.
nice.
So just building on Shannon's design and collaborating together.
That's great. Well, appreciate all of that. I know we did it quickly. Maybe you didn't expect to actually have to build something today, but I'm glad you did, and hopefully, it helps you think about how you could use this in your classroom with your students and make it really fun and engaging, and in different ways. So this again is the full activity if you're interested. It was designed originally for 6th through 8th grade. There's different ways you could differentiate this for younger and older ages if you go to the activity. Of course, it was designed for about an hour and 30 minutes. We did it in about 15 or 20. And so there's different ways you could really adapt the assignment or the activity on the site so it would work best in your classroom. But we just encourage you to check it out. Let us know how it goes. And we'd love to hear from you if you do indeed use this or other activities on our site. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about different ways you can get involved with Teach Engineering. I've spent the bulk of time really talking about using it in the classroom. Again, almost 2,000 activities, lessons, maker challenges, informal learning activities, different pages of our site where you can download posters and learn about engineering career pathways. So first and foremost, using it in your classroom. This is free. There's no login. There's no cost. We really just encourage you to use it and share it with your colleagues, really get this great information out into the world. On a similar note, if you have activities that use the engineering design process in any of your classes, we would love to talk to you about publishing them. If you would like to share them widely, on a source that really reaches over 2 million users per year across the globe, we would love to talk with you about publishing these activities and really sharing the great work that you do. So there is a QR code about publishing. You can also find the link on our site if you would like to talk to our publishing team about adding to the collection. I talked briefly about professional development. We have several opportunities that will happen throughout the year, both virtually and in person. And so you can check out our professional development page for upcoming activities. We just, like I said, wrapped up our Techie for short, our Teach Engineering Champions Institute, which Kathy actually leads up. We had our first cohort of 10 educators from across the country for both informal and formal teaching learning environments, K through 12. And we're really excited to have our cohort 2 summer of 2026. So you can learn more about that as well as our other offerings on our professional development page. And then if you want to review curriculum, we're also always looking for peer reviewers. As I mentioned, our content is submitted by teachers for teachers. And after it's classroom tested and submitted to the collection during our publication process, we have both a teacher as well as an engineer in the field do a peer review, much like a peer reviewed journal of the content that comes in. And they give feedback and we go back and forth with the author to kind of fine tune that content. We do give a small stipend for doing the curriculum review. So if you're interested in learning more about that, you can use the QR code or find the link on our website. And then, of course, if you want to learn about our other upcoming activities, new things that are published to the collection, opportunities for your students, you can subscribe to our newsletter, also free, or follow us on many of the social media platforms. Just a reminder, we have that back to school team up with NCWIT, back to school virtual workshop. I believe we will also send the recording to those that come, I'm pretty sure. The registration link will be shared with you. You can also use the QR code. And at this Team Up for NCWIT evening, we'll talk more about teach engineering, but also aspirations in computing and counselors for computing. I know I gave a very brief description of those programs, but we'll have breakout rooms where you could talk to the program managers or members of those teams to talk more about those programs and how you might use them as an educator, a student advisor, or even things to refer to your students as well. And with that, I provide you my email, both as from the NCWIT nonprofit and from the University of Colorado, where I sit in the Department of Engineering and Applied Science. Love to hear from you about your thoughts from today, how you use Teach Engineering. You can send me your rapid prototype pictures. You can ask questions, just reach out. I'm going to stay on for the next few minutes to take any Q&As in case there are any. But just don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. And with that, I am done with a few minutes to spare and some time to take questions if we have them.
How easy would you say it is for a teacher with limited engineering background to use the materials?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I would say very easy because if they are teaching a different subject area, especially in STEM, so if they're teaching a biology class or a chemistry class, a physics class, an earth science class, it's really about elevating the engineering design principle in anything that you're already doing. So it's really thinking about how can I have students try to solve a problem? And we really guide them through those engineering type questions in the activities or lessons that we have. That being said, a lot of educators may not have that engineering identity. They may not say, I'm not an engineer, I'm a biologist. And I would argue that, we can help you at NCWIT and through Teach Engineering really develop that engineering identity. If you attend our professional development workshops, if you look at our resources, if you reach out, we can really help guide you so that you can feel more confident. Our Engineering Champions program that we're building is really about having those champions go back to their communities and educate others about how they can use engineering in all of their classes. And that's a program we just launched, but something that may be coming to a community near you soon. So I think there's a lot of ways to really build that up as they move forward. And, for me personally, I have a biology degree. I then taught in a classroom. I never considered myself an engineer, but here I am understanding how to use build a rapid prototype and build something that I think solves a problem. That's engineering, even though I don't have an engineering degree.
I love that. Thank you. I had a follow-up question, but you actually just kind of answered it. I was going to ask, is there any type of community of educators or anything like that that they can get feedback from each other? And it sounds like you all are doing it. So
Well, we just launched the Techie program. I'd also encourage you to reach out. We have a community of practice page on our site, but right now it's really based on other organizations, other like organizations who do engineering in the service of other subjects or pure engineering. And so that page is really meant for you as a resource to learn about other organizations that are doing great work as well. And some of them, have additional features that we don't have, that would be helpful. So I'm trying to get to the page myself, but the organizations that are on there right now include Aspire, which is looking at EV, electric vehicles. There's Discover Engineering, Engineering for Us All. Engineering Girl and Engineering Teen are all resources on our community of practice page. So that's also something that you can look at to get more resources. As far as talking about other educators who are doing this work, we'd love to have you come to our next presentation on the Team Up presentation I was talking about, or also reaching out to us directly because we are building our Techie program, our Institute, and our Champions program, and we'd love to talk to you about your interest or how you can get connected to other educators.
That's great, and I think it sounds like a great opportunity. So I'll be sure to share those links in the email as well. Get as many people as we can. All right, I don't see any other questions coming in, so we'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you both again today for being here today and speaking with us. I would like to extend a special thank you to our sponsors for supporting us and making these cost-free webinars possible for you all, including the Claude Moore Charitable Foundation. And again, last but not least, thank you to everyone in the audience for taking the time to be in here today. We really hope you enjoyed it. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you to our speakers for taking the time. We couldn't do it without you all, so thank you.